Hello, everybody, and welcome back. As promised, game number 2 of this doubleheader on September 24th. And the Cubbies made some changes to the lineup. Leading off, playing second base is Ken Hubbs, MV. If anybody's watched his channel, knows Ken Hubbs, one of his favorite players. And batting second and playing first is Andrew Rogers. And batting third, playing left field is Billy Williams. Batting fourth, playing shortstop is Mr. Cub. Let's play two, and he's getting his wish, Ernie Banks. Batting fifth, playing third base is Ron Santo. Batting sixth, playing right field is George Altman. Batting seventh and playing center field is Nelson Matthews. Batting eighth, doing the catching is Dick Bertel. And batting ninth and doing the pitching for the Chicago Cubs is Dick Ellsworth. Take a look here at the Milwaukee Braves starting lineup. And they stay pat. The same lineup as game number 1. Leading off playing center field is Al Spangler. Batting second and playing second is Frank Bolin. Batting third, playing third is Eddie Matthews. Batting fourth, playing right field is Hank Aaron. Batting fifth, playing first base is Joe Adcock. Batting sixth and doing the catching is Joe Torre. Batting seventh and playing left field is Hawk Taylor. Batting eighth, playing shortstop Roy McMillan. And the only change to the lineup, starting pitching, ninth and doing the pitching, Bob Henley. Let's get down here to Milwaukee and get this game started, folks. And like I say, Bob Henley's on the mound. This is his 13th start. He's got a 2.59 ERA. He's 6-4 with 2 complete games. Ken Hubbs will be the first batter he'll face. Ken, in very limited play, is batting .250 with no home runs or RBIs. Here's the pitch to Ken. And that is going to be a base hit in the center field. Here's MV's boy with a single to start this game off with. So runner down at first and nobody out. And batting second in this lineup today is Mr. Rogers. And he's batting .252, 6 home runs, 33 RBIs. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. That's Bob's first strikeout of the game, 1 down. Brings up Billy Williams. And Billy hitting .270 with 29 home runs, 79 RBIs. And that ball is popped up on the infield. And Mr. Matthews down at third is going to make the play for out number 2. 2 down. Hubbs still down at first after that leadoff single. Here's Mr. Cub. He wanted 2. He got his wish. Batting .249, Ernie is, with 23 home runs, 89 RBI. And that's going to be a base hit in the center field. Ken's going to get down the third. So we got first and third and 2 outs. For the Cubbies, they're making noise again, just like they did in the last game here in the top of the first with 2 outs. Ron Santo at the plate. .286 batting average, 26 home runs, 96 RBIs, and he pops this one up in the foul territory down the right field line. Frank Bolin goes over, makes the catch in foul territory for out number 3. Cubbies strand 2. We go to the bottom of the first. Cubs nothing. Braves coming up. Spangler, Bolin, and Matthews going up against Dick Ellsworth. This is Ellsworth's 30th start. He's got a 4.58 ERA. He's 7-13. He's got 5 complete games. He's going up against Al Spangler, the first batter. Al batting .326 with no home runs, 13 RBIs. And that's going to be popped up to shoot. And Bertel throws the mask off, and that's 1 out. It's up to Frank Bolin here to get something started for the big boys to set the table. He's batting .284, 18 home runs, 79 RBIs. And that's going to be a base hit in the center field. Matthews can't get to it. And it drops in front of him. And Bolin will stop at first with a 1-out single. And here comes some big boys up now. Eddie Matthews batting .305, 35 home runs, 118 RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. Are they going to be able to turn two? CUBS has got it. He tosses it over to Ernie. Ernie's going to hold on to it. No chance of getting Matthews on that slow roller. So now there's 1 out, 2 outs rather. And Matthews down at first. The Hammer and Hank Aaron's up batting .303, 32 home runs and 116 RBIs. And that's going to be a 2-ball, no strike count on Aaron. Can he take advantage and drive this ball? And yes, he does. He gets a hold of this one, wears it up. And that ball is high. That ball is far. That ball is going. Kiss it goodbye, folks. Hank Aaron turns on that, and that goes out over Billy Williams' head. And the Braves have got a 2-0 lead on Hank's 33rd home run of the season. Brings up Joe Adcock now, 2 outs and nobody on. Joe's batting .278. He's got 37 home runs of his own, 116 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out the left field. This time Billy's got room. He waits for it to come down. That'll be the 3rd out. But Hank puts the Braves on the board with a home run. It's 2-0. We got Altman, Matthews, and Bertel due up here. And George is batting .325, 28 home runs, 107 RBIs. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. That's Bob's 2nd strikeout of the game. Here comes Mr. Nelson Matthews. Nelson is first plate appearance, folks. He hasn't been up the plate yet. This is his first time for the Cubbies this year. See if Bob can get him out. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Frank Bolin. Throws over to first for out number 2. Quick 2 outs here. That brings up Dick Bertel. Doing the catching today. He's batting .229. He's got a homer and 25 RBIs in limited play. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. And Bob Henley, he's starting to do a Linda Ronstadt impersonation. He's singing Blue Bayous. And here we go. We go to the bottom of the second. Torrey, Taylor, and McMillan due up here. Joe still struggling, batting .245, 9 home runs, 44 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball down in left field. And Santo goes out and makes the catch. And that's the type of year it's been for Joe. He thought he had a base hit. Santo makes a nice play for out number 1. Here comes the Hawk, Taylor, batting $150 with a homer and an RBI. And that's going to be a ground ball down the hubs. Ken's got it, tosses it over to Rogers at first for out number 2. Now we got Mack up now. McMillan is batting .217. He's got 9 home runs on the year, 55 RBIs. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. That's Ellsworth's first strikeout of the game. The Braves go down 1-2-3. We go to the top of the 3rd. Got Ellsworth, CUBS, and Rogers. And if you remember, Sandlot, Ellsworth could play. Ellsworth is batting .113 on the year. He's got 3 RBIs. And that ball is hit down to first. Joe Adcock fumbles around with it. That's going to be an E3. Ellsworth's aboard with an error. The Cubbies take advantage of this and cut into the lead. Here comes Ken Hubbs. He singled his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. And Bob Henley's going to spin around, fire that ball down to McMillan. That'll be the only runner they get. So now there's 1 out. Hubbs down at first for Mr. Rogers. Rogers struck out his first time up in the neighborhood. And that's going to be another swing and a miss. Bob Henley with his 4th strikeout. And that brings up Billy Williams now. And Billy, he popped up to Matthews his first time up. And that's going to be another swing and a miss. And Bob Henley, he is throwing the heat today, folks. And that is strikeout number 5. And Cubby strand Ken at first. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Not Spawn. It's going to be Henley. Get the right pitcher in there. Henley, Spangler, and Frank Bolin due up here. And Bob's batting .034. He's 1 for 29 this year. Can he get his 2nd base hit of the year? And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 for Ellsworth. We're back to the top of the order. And Spangler popped up to the catcher's first time up. And not this time. That's driven in the center field. Matthews can't get to it. Al's on with a single with 1 out. Brings up Frank Bolin now. Can Frank do something with Al down at first? He singled his first time up. Here's the pitch to Frank. And that's going to be a base hit in the center field. And Spangler with his speed is going to make it down the 3rd. So we got 1st and 3rd and 1 out. And up now is going to be Eddie Matthews. Matthews batting .304. He reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. And 0-1 pitch. Frank Bolin's taking off for 2nd. With Matthews up, you better make it. Here's the throw from Dick down the 2nd. Frank Bolin's in there. They called it a strike. So now it's 2nd and 3rd. 1 out and an 0-2 pitch coming up here to Matthews. The Cubbies going to be playing that infield in. Can he drive in another run and give the Braves a 3-0 lead? And no, that's going to be popped up in the foul territory down the first base line. And Rogers goes over, makes the catch for the all-important 2nd out. So now there's 2 outs. And here comes the hammer. And he is 1 for 1 with a home run today, the 2 RBI home run. Can he get number 34 on the season here, folks? He's got 118 RBIs. Looking to add to that total here. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. The Braves had 1 out, 2nd and 3rd, and couldn't cash in. See if that bites them in the butt. We go to the top of the 4th. It's still 2-0 Milwaukee. We got Banks, Santo, and Altman due up here. Ernie singled his first time up. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And he gets a hold of this 0-1 pitch, Ernie does. He drives that ball in the right field. That'll roll against the wall. He's standing down at 2nd with a double. Start this 4th inning. Mr. Cub ain't giving up. That brings up Ron Santo. He popped up to 2nd his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And Banks is going to make it down the 3rd. As McMillan fires over to 1st. So now there's 1 out, a runner down at 3rd for George Altman. The Braves will play back here. They'll give up the run. It's 2-0. Altman's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Bob would love to get another strikeout on him. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. He's going to fire over to 1st, Mac is, to get the batter. That will score the run, and it is now 2-1. They cut the lead in half, but now there's nobody on, and 2 outs for Matthews. He grounded out the 2nd his first time up, and that's going to be a fly ball out to Taylor in left field. He's patrolling out there today for the Braves. But the Cubbies get one. It's 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Got Adcock, Torrey, and Taylor. Joe's 0 for 1, flew out to Billy Williams. And that's going to be a base hit in the center field. Matthews just can't quite get to these balls. They're dropping in front of him. He's holding them to singles, but Braves are doing some damage. Here comes Joe Torre up now. He popped up to Santos first time up. Can he do something with Adcock down at first? And that's going to be a base hit in the center field. And all of a sudden, the Braves are making noise here in the fourth, trying to get that run back. Give himself a little bit of a cushion. And I'll bring up Taylor. Again, nobody out. Adcock down at second. Torrey down at first. Taylor at the plate. Grounded out to HUBS his first time up. And that's going to be a pop-up on the infield. Infield fly in effect, but Santo makes it official, makes the catch for out number 1. So it's up to Mac here with 1 out. Can he do something? It'll take a heck of a hit. Score Adcock from second. He doesn't have much speed. Roy struck out his first time up. Not this time, folks. That's going to be a 2 balls and no strike count. So here's the 2-0 pitch. And that, he does strike out. I spoke too soon. So that's back-to-back strikeouts for McMillan. So it's up to Bob Henley to do some damage here. Braves had first and second, nobody out, and they're still there. Bob struck out his first time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the third. They'll fire across the diamond to get Bob. And the Braves strand too. Well, that cost them. Hanging on to a 1-run lead. We go to the top of the 6th. It's still 2-1 Milwaukee. We got the bottom part of the order due up here for the Cubbies. Bertel, Ellsworth, and then back to the top in HUBS. Dick struck out his first time up. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Hank. He's out in right field today, makes the catch for out number 1. Here comes Dick Ellsworth. And he reached on an error his first time up. And not this time. That's a ground ball down to Matthews. That's a can of corn. He fires across to Adcock for 2 outs. Back to the top of the lineup in the Ken HUBS. 1 for 2 today. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3. The 6th strikeout for Bob. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Braves still up by 1. Top of the order, Spangler, Bolin, and Matthews. Al singled his last time up against Ellsworth. And that's going to be another base on balls. Al does a nice job getting on with walks. Nice leadoff guy. Here comes Frank Bolin. Can Frank do something about it here, folks? They're going to do a little hit and run. Get old Al in the motion here with Frank up. See if that can get something started. Here's the pitch to Frank. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. And that's going to get Spangler over to third easily with the hit and run. So first and third, nobody out. Nice piece of hitting by Frank Bolin. Going the other way with it. Hits it into the hole. That brings up Mr. Matthews. Cubbies, it's 2-1 ball game. They're going to play back for the double play with Matthews. He's 0 for 2. Did come around to score when he reached on the fielder's choice in the first one. The hammer and Hank hit that home run. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second, playing back for the double, down the short rather. They're going to get the tailor-made double play. A run will score. It won't be an RBI for Matthews, but that gives the Braves a 3-1 lead. Now there's nobody on for Hank. That's what the Cubbies was kind of looking at. They didn't want a bunch of runners on base with Hammer and Hank up. He's already homered today. He did strike out his last time up, though. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Billy. He's got it this time, short of the track. And the Braves Score 1, make it a 3-1 ball game as we go to the 6th inning. Rogers, Williams, and Banks due up now. And Rogers is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Can Bob Henley get the hat trick on him here, folks? And that's going to be a swing and a miss 3 times a lady. 1, 2, 3 times he struck out, folks. Once, twice, 3 times a lady, as Kenny Rogers would say. That is Rogers' first name is Kenny. Here's Billy Williams. He struck out his last time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the MAC. He's going to fire over to first to get out number 2. And up comes Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. Ernie's 2 for 2 with a double, came around the score and singled. Here's the pitch to Banks. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Frank Bolin. That'll end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. We got Adcock, Torrey, and Taylor due up here. Joe is 1 for 2. He singled his last time up. And not this time. That's a swing and a miss. And that's Ellsworth's 5th strikeout now. Here comes Mr. Joe Torrey. Can he get aboard here with 1 out? He singled his last time up. Nope, that's going to be a ground ball down the Banks over to first. And that'll be 2 quick outs. We got the Hawk up now, Taylor. He's 0 for 2, grounded out and popped up. And that's going to be a fly ball down the left field line. Nice play by Santo. Robs Taylor of a hit. He goes back to the dugout shaking his head. That'll end the 6th. We go to the 7th. Santo, who just made that fine play up first. Altman and then Matthews. Ron's 0 for 2 at the plate here today. And he's going to be 0 for 3 as that's a ground ball down to McMillan. He's got it and makes the nice throw to first. Here comes Mr. Alton. George is 0 for 2. He did get an RBI his last. Well, that shouldn't have been an RBI. Oh, it was. It was just a it's just a ground ball down the short. And that's going to be a fly ball out the right field as Hammer and Hank makes the play for 2 outs. That brings up Mr. Sweet Roll Nelson Matthews. He's 0 for 2. And he's going to be 0 for 3 as Frank Bolin gets to that one easily. Takes his time, throws to Joe. And that's it for the Cubbies. We go to the 7th inning stretch. And we got the 7th inning coming up here for the Braves. McMillan, Henley, and then back to the top of the order. Ellsworth is due to bat second. They like to see him get through this 7th. Max 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. He's trying to avoid the hat trick. And he does by getting a single in the center field. So down the first goes Mac. Bob Henley's going to try to bunt him over into scoring position here. See if he can get the job done. Here's the pitch from Dick. And that's going to be a nice bunt down the third baseline. Santos only play is going to throw over to first with Hubs covering. And that'll get the runner down in scoring position. Shouldn't have been Rogers. Let's go back here and do that again. Shouldn't have been the Rogers. So now we got Spangler up here with one down and a runner down at second in scoring position. And I'll do something. Hey, Tim D, can Spangler do something here? He's 1 for 2. Came around to score when he walked in the 5th inning. Can he come up with a key RBI here and give the Braves a little more cushion? They're up 3-1. And that's going to be another base on ball. Spangler's specialty here. How many walks is that on the year for him? That's his 40th walk. Spangler trots on down the first. In 60 games, he's walked 40 times. So now we got first and second. One out here for Frank Bowen. That'll get some bullpen action up. Like I say, they like to see Ellsworth get through this. Yeah, that does that to me sometimes, Tim. Sometimes it's not just hours or minutes, it's days late. Here's Frank. He's perfect today. 3 for 3 with a stolen base. Can he go 4 for 4 and maybe drive in a run here? And nope, that's going to be 2 balls and no strikes though on him. Can he take advantage of the 2-0 count? And he walks the hard way in APBA with 2 dice rolls. And I'm afraid that is going to be it for Ellsworth. They're going to bring in a lefty to try to get Matthews out. Let's see if they want to do a double switch here. They got a deep bench. And their Nelson Matthews made the last out. So I think that's what they're going to do here. They're going to go to the bench. Let's see, do they want to bring a Richie Ashburn in, even with Bob being a lefty? Al Heist, that's who they're going to bring in. Al Heist is going to come in. He'll bat in the 9th spot where Ellsworth's at. And then we got to bring in a lefty here, the base Matthews. See who they're going to bring in here. Let's see here. What lefty are they going to bring in? They got a couple lefties in the bullpen. They got Brewer. Well, Brewer might be the only lefty they got in the bullpen. Let's look. I might have misspoke when I said they got a couple. Curtis is in the starting rotation. So, yep, Brewer's going to be the man. And he's going to come in and bat in the 7th spot. And then, like I say, Heist is going to come in and bat in the 9th spot. There's Al Heist. He'll bat in the 9th spot. And play center field. And bases are juiced. And let's see if Brewer can get Eddie Matthews out. McMillan down at 3rd. Spangler down at 2nd. Bowen at 1st. 2 outs. And again, they're down by 2. They got to go for the double play here. So Matthews is 0 for 3. He did reach on a fielder's choice and come around to score back in the 1st. But can Matthews bust this game open? Brewer, this is his 29th appearance. He's got a 5.40 ERA, 2-4 record with no saves. Here's the pitch from him. And that's a big swing and a miss. Brewer gets the job done there. And now you got a bunch of righties due up. And is that going to be the only batter Brewer's going to face? It might be. And I think the Cubbies are going to go to the bullpen again with the righties coming up. Let's see who they want to bring in here. And Don Elston's going to come in here and try to get Aaron out of here. He'll bat in the 7th spot. Got all these arms with the call up. You might as well use them. So Brewer gets the job done, gets the lefty out. Can Elston come in here and get the righty and Hank Aaron out? And this is Don Elston's 36th game of the year. He's got a 5.23 ERA. He's 3-4 with 5 saves. He's trying to keep us a 2-run game. Hank went deep in the 1st inning for his 33rd home run. Can he do number 34 here and get a granny? And that ain't a granny, but that's going to be a base hit in the center field, and that's going to score 2. And that's going to get Frank Bolin down the 3rd, and Hank Aaron just bust this game open, folks. And it's 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. So Elston couldn't get the job done. That brings up Joe Adcock. He's 1 for 3, flown out, singled, and struck out. Here's the pitch to Joe. And that's going to end the inning. That's going to be a ground ball down the short. Over the short way to Hubs at 2nd. That'll end the inning. But Hank with a 2-run double makes this a 5-1 ball game as we go to the top of the 8th. We got Bertel, Heist, who just came in on the double switch, and Kenny Hubs due up. Dick is 0 for 2, struck out and flown out to Hank out and right. And he gets a hold of this, drives it, and Hank's not getting to this one. That's going to drop in there. Hank has to hustle over, throws the ball in. Dick will stop at first with a leadoff single. Here comes Al Heist, first plate appearance after the double switch. Batting .248 with 5 home runs, 20 RBIs. Here's the pitch to Al. And that's going to be a ground ball down the 3rd. Matthews' only play is going to be over to 1st. So Bertel will get down the 2nd with 1 out. And then we're back to the top of the order. And Ken Hubs, he's 1 for 3. Reached on a fielder's choice the other time and struck out. And that's going to be a fly ball in the left field. That's not going to be deep enough. Dick will stay put there at 2nd as Taylor gets the ball in. So it's up to Kenny Rogers, who's been once, twice, 3 times a strikeout victim. Can he get the golden sombrero on Rogers here? And no, that's going to be a ground ball down the 2nd. And Frank will throw over to 1st to end the inning. And the Cubbies leave 1 on. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 4-run game, 5-1 Milwaukee. Torrey, Taylor, and Mack up against Elston. Joe's 1 for 3. He's popped up, singled, and grounded out. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Heist. Ball always finds you, don't it? And that's out number 1. Bring up the Hawk. See if he can do something. He's 0 for 3 today. He's grounded out and popped up the 3rd twice. Been robbed of 2 base hits. And not this time. He goes the other way. Doesn't hit it down the Santo. And that'll drop for a base hit in the right field. Taylor will be happy with a single. That'll bring up McMillan now. Here's Mack. Mack's 1 for 3. Singled his last time up. Came around to score. Struck out his other 2 times. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Mr. Cubby himself. Taylor made double play. 6-4-3. And that'll end the inning. We go to the top of the 9th. Cubbies need 4 to tie. They do got Williams, Banks, and Santo due up here. Henley trying to go the distance. Billy's 0 for 3. Popped up the 3rd. Struck out and grounded out to short. And that's going to be a ground ball down the 1st. Adcock says he's got it himself. Touches the bag. 1 down. Mr. Cubby himself, can he keep this game going? He's 2 for 3 with a double and came around to score. He did ground out the second his last time up. And that's going to be a ground ball down the third. And Mr. Matthews, I don't know what he was doing there, but he messed that one all up. That's an E5 on Matthews. And Banks is down at first. Then the Cubbies take advantage of this extra out here. They need 4. Ron Santo has grounded out the short twice and popped up the second. And that's going to be a runner's not going to try to steal, not with no 4-run deficit. So here's the 0-1 pitch to Santo. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Taylor and left. And now the Cubbies are down to their last at bat. 2 outs. Runner on at first is Banks. And it's up to George Altman. He's 0 for 3. He does have an RBI in this game, else. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. He's going to take it, throw it over to first. And that's your ball game, folks. The Braves sweep the doubleheader and win this one 5-1. Take a look here at the line score and the box score. Yeah, like I say, pretty nice sweeping the doubleheader, ain't it, Tim? So the Cubbies score 1 run on only 4 hits. Bob Henley pitched a gem of a game. The Braves 5 runs on 10 hits and 2 errors. So your Mr. Cubby was about the only one that had a decent ball game. He had 2 of the 4 hits. Cubbies were 0 for 4, didn't have many opportunities. They only left 5 men on base. Old Frank Bowen 3 for 3 in this game number 2 with a walk. Hank Aaron 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs out of the 5, folks. The other one was a double play ground ball that nobody got an RBI for. Braves are only 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Left 6 men on base. Ellsworth drops his record to 7 and 14. He goes 6 1/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, walked 3, struck out 5, and gave up the homer. Brewer comes in, pitches a third of an inning. He gets the job done. He got Matthews out on strikes, but Elston, he couldn't get the job done. Hank got a 2 RBI single. He pitches an inning in the third, 2 hits, and that's the line on him. Bob Henley, like I say, goes the distance. 7th victory of the year. He goes to 7 and 4. 4 hitter, like I said, 1 run and struck out 7. Nice game, Bob. Yeah, Tim D, exactly. Against the Braves, they've struggled, and against the Giants, that's the difference in this National League pennant, really, is the Cubbies. Yep, if you switch it around and the Braves would have struggled against the Cubbies and the Giants would have played well, the Giants may have won the National League pennant. Let's take a look here with the National League here and play the rest of these games. You got the Giants traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Reds. See what happens up here in Ohio. In Cincinnati, Ohio. And the Reds shut out the Giants. Giants, no runs on 8 hits and an error. The Reds, 3 runs, 10 hits and an error. Reds are now starting to play ball. It's a darn shame they blew it. Now we got the Battle of Pennsylvania. The Pirates traveling to Philadelphia. Phillies trying to avoid that 100 loss. And their state rivals give it to them. The Pirates, 4 runs on 11 hits and no errors. The Phillies only 1 run, 4 hits, and no errors. And the last game here on September 24th is the Dodgers and the Cardinals. We got Sandy Koufax going up against Bob Gibson. This might be a hell of a game. See what happens here. This would have been a good game to play. It was a good game. Koufax shuts out the Cardinals. Well, look at the box score here. 3 runs on 4 hits and no errors. The Cardinals, no runs. They get 4 hits also and 1 error. The Duke of Brooklyn, he was 1 for 4 with a homer. It was a solo shot, only 1 RBI. Take a look here at this box score. Dodgers scored 2 runs in the second and a run in the fifth. Let's take a look at the scorecard here. Duke hit that home run in the fifth. And how did they score in the second? Had a walk, a strikeout, an error, a hit to batsman, and he walked in the run. Then a sacrifice fly. Oh, Bob Gibson, what a heck of a way to give up 2 runs. Hit Batman, an error, and a walk. Gives up the first run, and then a sacrifice fly. So he had bases loaded, walked in a run, and then a sacrifice fly. Then gave up the home run to Duke. Yeah. Take a look here. Who had the hits? Snyder with the hit. Fairley and Rosebore. They was 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Left 7 men on base. And Chris James, 2 for 4. Cardinals were 0 for 5 and left 7 men on base. Koufax goes 8 innings, goes to 16 and 11 and gives up the 4 hits, walked 4 and struck out 6. Farley comes in, picks up his second save, pitches an inning, struck out 2. Bob Gibson goes 8 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, only 1 of them earned. That was the homer to Snyder. Walked 4, struck out 7, and gave up that home run. McDaniel comes in, pitches an inning. But Koufax outdid old Gibson. Let's take a look here at the standings now after both games are played. And the leaderboard here. Say the Giants are struggling and the big red machine's starting to play ball. They've won 5 in a row, but too little too late. Giants are 11.5 games back. The Reds 13, Cardinals 20, Dodgers 21. The Cubbies, with getting swept in that doubleheader, go to 23.5 games back. Pirates 26, and the Phillies, with 100 losses on the year, goes to 45 games back. Clemente's batting .364, leading the league and the major leagues. And you got a 3-way tie in the National League. Adcock, Cepeda, and Mays with 37 home runs. Cepeda with 125 RBIs. Hank Aaron's making a run at him. He's got 120. See if the hammer can catch him with RBIs. Maybe even home runs. 33 home runs. He'd have to get real hot in the last few games. Spahn leading the National League with a 2.29 ERA. He's the only pitcher in the National League with an ERA under 3. Hey, Big Clue. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Spawn's the only one with 20 wins. Closest is Lou Burdett and Joey J with 18. And Don with his 37 saves. And Hank Aaron has taken over all. He's tied with Cepeda with the MVP voting. He has come back from way back. Cepeda was dominating this MVP voting almost all year. And the hammer has caught him, folks. It's tied up at 358 votes. Hey, Mike. And Spawn's leading now in the Cy Young over his teammate Lou Burdett. So can the Braves get the MVP and the Cy Young winner? Looks like the Yankees are going to do that in the American League. They got Maris going to win the MVP voting, and you got two Yankees up there with the Cy Young. You got Bill Stafford ahead of the other, Whitey Ford. So looks like the Yankees are going to have the Cy Young winner and the MVP. I got one more Braves game before I got a Yankee game, Mike. The Yankees, I think, are off the next day. I think the Braves had to make up a game against the Cardinals, or they'd have been off. It's a one-game series against the Cardinals, if my memory's correct. And the Yankees have got the 25th off. Yeah, got the Cardinals coming to Milwaukee for one game, and the Yankees are off. Then on the 26th, you got the Orioles coming to town. Fisher against Daly. Like I say, the Orioles got a fine lineup. And then, it's a 2-game series with the Cardinals. So I thought it was only a 1-game series. So, yeah, it's a 2-game series against the Cardinals. I was mistaken. So, yeah. So the next game, like I say, will be that Cardinals Braves game. And then the Yankees against the Orioles. I think then the Yankees finish the season out with the Red Sox. Yep. And then, of course, which was anticipated to be a good series with the Giants and the Braves, but the Braves clinched the pennant. So that's not going to be a gotta see series now. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I haven't got to watch the whole video, Big Clue. I seen that was one of the seasons. Yeah, I mean, there's a hell of a lot of good hitters that year. I mean, the Yankees, the Orioles, the Tigers, you name it. There is some damn good hitters in that year. The Braves, yeah. Cardinals has a decent team. The Giants have a hell of a lineup. The Dodgers got a hell of a lineup. Yeah. The White Sox ain't a bad team, like I say. There's a lot of damn good teams in 61. Not a lot of great pitching, but there's a lot of great hitting. That's for sure. Yep. The best pitching staffs is probably the Giants. The Orioles got a damn good pitching staff. Yankees ain't got a bad pitching staff. You got Whitey that year. You had Ralph Terry had a hell of a year that year. You had Bill Stafford had a hell of a year, and Raleigh Sheldon. Then you got, like I say, you got Luis in the bullpen. So the Yankees got a good pitching staff, but like I say, the Orioles got a hell of a pitching staff. You got Fisher, Barber. Who else they got? Oh man, ain't that all? Can't name them off the top of my head. They got a hell of a pitching staff. I think the Orioles from top to bottom had the best in the American League. 61. Got Hoyt Wilhelm in the bullpen for the Orioles in 61. Oh, Brown. I forgot about Brown. Estrada. Like I say, that's a hell of a pitching staff. Here's the real life. Let's switch to pitching instead of batting. This is what they actually did. 3.33 ERA, 3.69, 3.9, 3.19. All Milt Pappas. Forgot about Milt. 3.04 Dick Hall. 3.09. Let's see what they actually did in the replay. The Reds, they got a good team, but I don't know what the hell happened to them, Big Clue. They got some good ball players. And their pitching staff was fine. They had a good pitching staff with Joey J, O'Toole, and them guys. We'll bring them up. Look what the Orioles did in the replay. 266 with Barber, 353. 4 Fisher didn't do as well. 4.14. Pappas, though, 2.51. Brown, 2.95. Hall, 2.38. Like I say, they did real well. Yeah, they must have played a lot of close games, Big Clue, and won them. That's what it looks like because I thought maybe the stats was off, but their stats in this is pretty darn close. They just don't win. I mean, let's take a look at this. Like I say, this is a decent pitching staff. We'll look at the real life stats. So you had a two with a 3.1, Joey J 3.53, Perky with a 3.73, Ken Hunt, like I say, 3.96, Ken Johnson 3.3, 3.25. We'll see what they did in the replay. Perky was off to a real good start. I don't know how he did after they fell out of the race, but Perky there for a round was doing real well. So Perky with a 3.59 ERA. Like say there for a while, he was dominating. Joey J with a 3.2, O'Toole 3.62. Like say their stats are close. Stats are real close to what they did in real life. Just didn't get the wins. Then we can switch over here to the batters. And let's look at first at real life stats. Bring up games. So Veda hit 343, Frank 323. I think Frank, as far as his batting average, he didn't do as well. 37 home runs. Here, let's bring up Frank this way and compare it. Yeah, see, he only batted 284. Power's about the same, 26 home runs, 97 RBIs. So, like I say, he definitely hurt him in the replay. Veda is right there. 338, 16 home runs, 84 RBIs, 20 stolen bases. Only caught 4 times. Like I say, the stats are pretty close. Like I say, Frank with his batting average, not as good as you want. Gene Freeze, he played well against the Braves. He did better than what he was supposed to. 282 with 31 home runs, 93 RBIs. So he kind of made up for some of the slack of Frank Robinson. Old Gordo. Called him Cooper a couple times, old Coleman. He's right there. Look at that 286, 21 home runs, 98 RBIs. So, yeah, the team ain't bad. Yeah, exactly, Big Clue. That's what I think. I think they was a tough, gritty team that fought hard and won a lot of close ball games in real life, and that just doesn't compute in the numbers. Yep. So if you don't win the tight ball games in the replay, it hurts you. Because what they won, what 94 games that year? It was either 93 or 94. Let me see here. 93. Yeah. 93 wins, and then in my replay, what do they got, 80 something? Yeah, 82. So they're about 10 games difference, which is realistic. Not what you want if you're rooting for them, but it's realistic. I think Digital Diamond does a good job because that 22 of the games was played with APBA. The other games was played with Digital Diamond. The big difference between them and they struggled against the Braves, which they really didn't do. Here, we'll bring it up. I think they struggled against the Braves and the Giants in the replay. So let's see here. Against the Braves, they was 10-12. So had a losing record against them. And I know they had a winning record. Let's see here. It shows up. We go to the Reds. And win-loss against teams here. Let's see where it's at. Probably up here under more. Let's see others. Schedule and results. Let's see here. I should have it on here. Shouldn't be that hard to find. There it is. So against the Braves, where is it at here? Against Milwaukee, it was 15-7. So they did struggle against the Dodgers and the Cubs. Beat up on the Braves, like I say, which they didn't do. Beat up on the Phillies. Only played .500 against Pittsburgh. Had a winning record against San Francisco and did a pretty good job against the Cardinals. So let's see here. And I know the Giants had their number. Against the Giants, they were, where's the Giants at? 13-9 against the Giants. So they played well against the Giants. Terrible against the Cubbies. Cubbies was the team. Cubbies must have had bad luck that year because they did well against the top teams. They did well against the Giants. The Cubbies did. Against the Giants, they was 13-9. Like I say, against Cincinnati, Cubbies were 15-6 against the Cubs. Against Cincinnati, Phillies, they was 15-7. Pittsburgh 11-8. So, like I say, the Braves and the Cubbies did them in. Cubbies ruined the Giants season and the Reds season. Alrighty, what time is it? I'm getting hungry. It's 5:30. I think I'm going to get off here, get something to eat. I may be back on here later tonight and play that Cardinals game against the Braves, or maybe even do game 2 of the 1904 What If World Series between the Giants and the Americans. Until then, I want to thank Big Clue for stopping by. Mike, check out his channel. Tim D. I believe that was everybody. Like I say, I may be back on later tonight. Yeah, damn Cubs is right. Yeah. Until then, you all have a great evening and take care. Oh, thank you, Big Clue. Appreciate it.